Fit like a bee, Danny Boy here, and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2 on the UK map. We're going to do a little drive-by. Today we'll jump on a train. We are here at our newest town, Grimsby. So we're going to jump on the Trans-Pennine Express that heads from Grimsby to Manchester. I believe it's the only train we've got because the other lines that leave from Grimsby we don't actually have in. Is that time accurate? It's 10:30 at night. Holy crap, it is 10:30 at night. Nice. So, we've got Matrix lady walking in, doing the side step there. Can't be good for your ankles or your arms. Have to go see a chiropractor after walking like that for a few days. I think your spine would be buckled, probably. Can't be very healthy, but it's not really too bad run. There isn't much on the line from the Grimsby section up to at least where the junction is, where it goes on to the sort of Hull main line. Then we'll start seeing some stuff. We've got our very, very underwhelming looking Humber Bridge there in the background. But it looks like Hull is growing quite nicely, which is nice. I've actually clean forgotten where me headquarters is. So I don't know if that has grown. Probably not, because we are literally in minus money, which is always the case when you're building, maybe not to make money, but sort of building it your own way. You don't tend to make money. You probably could if you micromanaged the living bejesus out of the game, but that takes many hours. I have played Transport Fever 1 and Transport Fever 2 on my own YouTube series, where I have micromanaged the hell out of stuff and almost had every single vehicle on the map running in profit. It's difficult. It's a matter of, I would say, timing, really. If you get the timings right on the routes, they do actually, every route will make money. If you position them in the right place as well, especially passengers, if you can keep constant flow of passengers going into train stations, then they will actually make money. But here we go, we're heading to the Hull main line there. There's a class 180. We're probably not going to get out in front of this. This train is definitely going to be able to go straight through. We are going to have to stop, but I do not believe... Oh, there's a fellow Trans-Pennine train. That kind of looks like it's been through some sort of fire. Yeah. I think it just needs a wash. That would be a really cool mechanic. Like, obviously, unlike Transport Tycoon of old, if vehicles were damaged, they either broke down on the rails or the road, and you had to wait to get them fixed. And while waiting to get them fixed, they cause utter chaos. Other vehicles would get stuck behind them on the road, other trains would get stuck behind them in the rails. If you had helicopters or aeroplanes, they simply dropped off the sky. You got a newspaper article saying there had been a plane crash, many people had died, and then that was factored into the game. Because you'd had a plane crash, no one wanted to ride on your airlines because they were deemed as, well, unsafe. I mean, that's pretty much the way the airline industry goes. A certain airline can be high flying, the best in the world, but until something goes wrong, everyone then throws that sort of airline into doubt, and then you don't really want to fly on it. So yeah, this game doesn't really do that. There's no sending vehicles back to depots for maintenance. If there was actually even just something like a train depot where you could send a train and it could go in, maybe looking a bit grimy, rusty or old, and then come back and look shiny and new, even if it just went into a depot for maintenance. But yeah, maintenance is done on the sort of fly in the background. You don't see it happening. The only thing you see is instead of trains deteriorating rapidly and looking really bad. Like if we look at this one, right? So that Grand Central, those Mark IV coaches are rusty as hell. It's like someone's maybe picked them up, dredged them up from the bottom of the ocean. They've been left in salt water for decades. They're starting to rust away to nothing. They're extremely dirty, grimy, etc. The only thing, if you put maintenance and set it to high maintenance, those will not deteriorate over time. They'll just stay pristine, shiny and new. Now obviously some mods in the game don't simulate the dirt. It's like a sort of... It's a vanilla game feature, and it's not always a feature that modders put in. It's not really a deal breaker for me to use a mod. Whether the train gets dirty or it looks pristine, brand new, throughout the span of its lifetime, it doesn't really matter to me, but it would be nice, a nice feature, if we could send trains and vehicles back to depot. Maybe they would look terrible by the time they've had some maintenance. They could come out shiny and new. But yeah, this one we've got, or this class 197, is that what it is? It's causing a hell of a traffic jam, actually. We're waiting for this whole train on the right hand side to move. Nothing else can get past it. There's another Grand Central, so we're not going to be able to go now. See, look, the locals don't get the dirt or the damage, but the coaches do, so it looks slightly weird. Right, that Zuma, or that Class 800 is going, and there's another whole train stuck behind us. I suppose that's okay, because it really spaces out that whole train in front of us. Now, is this one stuck? No, it's not stuck. That train was actually on a different line. We were literally waiting for other trains to clear that. This should maybe be a bridge over to the far side and then come in. I see ballast over track there that I did not notice before, but it's actually not too bad. There we go, so other whole trains is heading out. We definitely was a whole train in front of us. So that one is now slightly better spaced out. There is a scheduling mod in the workshop that is apparently very, very good. I have not yet had the chance to use it, but when I come to the new series of Transport Fever, having the scheduling mod is something I'm gonna practice upon and learn to use, because I want that to be a factor in future Transport Fever series. Not actually played with it yet. Same with the NIMBY Rails map. The NIMBY Rails map, I basically just buy two trains, set one to launch from one side or one end station, and then when it gets to the other side or the end of the route, just launch the next one. I've not really built depots. There are many tutorials on YouTube, etc., that tell you how to do scheduling in NIMBY Rails, which would be incredibly useful if you were playing it with the money factor switched on. If you're not, then play the game however you want. If you don't have to worry about money, it's fine. If you are worrying about money or are playing it that way, it is probably a stellar idea to learn how the scheduling works. That way, when the times come at late at night when there are no passengers at all, you can send trains to go and sit in depots. That way they're not running, gathering maintenance costs, etc. And they're not just burning through money for no point because there are no passengers. And then they can be released first thing in the morning for when the passengers start again. So, yeah, scheduling, very good. I think the scheduling mod is possibly an upgraded version. There's the other Transpennine train there. This train's other half, or counterpart, running on the same line. Yeah, I think the schedule mod is possibly just an advanced upgrade to the wait for full load, etc. that you have in these trains. I think it was Mr. Barnett that explained to me that if you set a train to wait for full load, or wait full for any. It sort of will. And then if you set it for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, it should leave, even if it's not full after that time limit is reached. But if another train comes into the station, that resets it. And if you've got a busy station where trains are coming in all the time, the train will basically stay there until it's fully loaded. Now, it's something I tested and tried with freight. It does seem to be the case. It's slightly odd, slightly weird. So I don't know why that worked. I mean, it works perfectly in Transport Fever 1. I don't know why they changed it. A train would wait for a full load, and if it hadn't loaded up by a certain time, it would just leave. That was the nature. That was what you wanted to do, and that's what it actually did. But it doesn't work like this in Transport Fever 2. There's a lot of things in Transport Fever 1 I feel would have been fantastic to have in Transport Fever 2, but they removed them from the game. There we go, another Avanti West Coast there. I think that, well, there is the one that goes to Holyhead. Oh no, it goes to Bangor. It goes to Bangor from London, Houston. That is one of the trains we're going to be jumping on, because I think that potentially could be a nice route. There we go. Cross country there. Heading off to somewhere. I think that's the one that heads to Cambridge from Manchester. Could be entirely wrong. You've been wrong in the past. Yeah, so we'll jump on that one. I think that could be a nice little run across the Welsh north coast. But yeah, there's things in Transport Fever 1 I wish they'd popped over to Transport Fever 2. They maybe will do in later patches. Who knows? Like curve stations. Curve stations should not be something that has to be modded into the game. Curve stations should just be in the game, and that's it. It shouldn't be a thing that should have to be modded. It shouldn't be a thing that should maybe have to be added later. Curve stations should always be there. Transport Fever 1 at launch did not have curve stations. The devs obviously realised there was a lot of vibrance in the community for curve stations, and then they added them in. I think a mod came out in Steam Workshop. Everybody on the planet downloaded it, and as soon as they seen that, like about a couple of months later, a patch dropped, and voila, we had curve stations. They've perhaps maybe been removed due to the fact that the modular stations are now a thing. And the modular stations are great. I would like not to have to download a mod to increase the size of the amount or the number of modules you can add to a station. It should be infinite. I know that sounds kind of stupid, but some of the stations you're going to have to create are going to be incredibly large with multiple tracks, especially if you're trying to copy potentially stations in the real world. The other day I was watching Grand T's, he was building Glasgow Central on his new series. And the first thing that came into my head was, when you look at Grand Central Station in Glasgow, it's quite large, and in order to build that, you need to, for the amount of platforms and tracks, the amount of module assets you're going to need to build it, you need to download the mod to increase the amount of modules you can get to build a station, or things like that are virtually impossible. They can't be done. So it's kind of strange. Maybe even make it an option to maybe go into the settings before you load a game, before you start a game, etc., and say, like, I would like to increase modular station size by X amount. It might come up with a warning or something saying, okay, if you do this, it could potentially lower frame rates, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. But leave it up to the player to do so. So we're actually stopped here. I don't know why. Yes, you're going to Manchester. The skies above Manchester are teamed with aircraft, and I would imagine that probably only one of them is going to Manchester here. This Q400 here, I think that A380 and those other planes are all circling again at London, but this aircraft here is definitely landing. Right, we can go now, which is odd because this train has a platform of its own. There shouldn't be anything between that signal it was stopped at and the next signal up here. I maybe might have to add another signal in there. I can see the Manchester airport. Yeah, I've got a plan. If that train stays there, the Manchester Airport Express that goes up to Holyhead, we'll jump on that. Depends how many green lights this train gets. Yeah, it could have came up to this one. There perhaps maybe was a train stopped and we couldn't see it for trees. Maybe. Possibly. That could have well have been a thing. So like I was saying with the modular stations, this build of Manchester that we've got just now is nowhere near accurate to what it is in real life. I will add, firstly, for anyone who's like, oh, that looks nothing like Manchester. I know. This is not a absolute replica of the real world UK. None of it is. Maybe some of the trains and some of the routes they're running, but there are many towns and cities that should be on these routes that are not in the game due to map size limitations. But yeah, building this station the way it looks right now would not have been possible without downloading a mod to increase the station modular size. Not a hope in hell. We probably would have been able to build half of it, and then it would have been game over. But this train has arrived, which is marvellous. There it goes, its own little platform there. Have you left? Have you left? Can I jump on you? Where are you going? Are you coming or going? You are going. There we go. Nice. We'll jump on this up to Holyhead, and then we'll jump on the Avanti West Coast that goes down to down to London. It is kind of utilising the same track that you've just really followed. Why is this thing so slow? It's got two locos on it, 2 power units, and they're decent. These diesels are decent as well. What are they, class 68s? Now this is not a Transport for Wales livery, but it's white with a red stripe down the middle, and it actually looks more like a Transport for Wales livery than the actual Transport for Wales livery, which is just all white with a red stripe on top. There we go, look. See, ballast over track, because this track to the right ascends. I did not notice that. This is a nice area though. Trains coming and going. A couple of Northern class 180s there. Nice. We could have did the train that goes Holyhead to Birmingham as well. That's a class 180 as well, and Transport for Wales livery. Yeah, that Transpennine train still has not left. Perhaps just maybe waiting for a free section on the line. Yep, this part is not flat either, and it looked incredibly flat when I was building it. It should all be the same height, because the station should be the same height. Maybe perhaps not this bit. This is an added on bit. Okay, so whatever train is on the left hand side here, and whatever platform 9 is, there are a phenomenal amount of people waiting to get on those trains. Okay, so it's not a Transpennine train that goes into platform 7, because there's hardly anyone waiting for that. There's a Northern train on the right hand side also leaving. So what's going on in platform 5? Is it basically we're waiting for this thing to come back? Because if you guys are waiting for this train to come back, you are going to be waiting for a hell of a long time. Right, is this the northern train that continues off to Leeds, or is the one that goes to Wigan? I don't know, but we have an autosave. Autosave is in the building. Okay. Good. We don't actually need autosave at the moment. We're not building anything. And we've got a red light. Perfect timing. Oh, there's another. That's the northern train that goes to Leeds. That one there is going to Wigan. Okay. So long. Northern Arriva. Is that the old livery or the new one? Or is the all purple? Is that the new livery? Someone who frequents northern trains on a daily basis will know, and or sees them regularly on a daily basis will know. I've not seen one since back in 2019. Now this bridge here is hellish. Obviously I'd like this to be nicer, but again, map size limitations and the fact that it has to go over this other rail where that Avanti West Coast just popped out of. Whoa, that is a long train. We can see the front and the back was just crossing over there. Into Wigan Station you go. Anything down this way? No, negatory. The line is empty. See another northern train, but that's the one that goes from Wigan to Liverpool. And obviously, in NIMBY Rail's map, but there's about 4 or 5 places in between that train would stop. But due to map limitations, Wigan is there and Liverpool is right there. You could probably walk there on this map. It's such a short distance. But we're heading round to Chester. Chester fast became a super busy station from having just one train popping in and out of it to having many. That was the Merseyrail or the Merseyrail Metro train that was an extreme nightmare to build. I knew it was going to be a nightmare, but I sort of wanted to get something, at least something Merseyrail in. We might even see that train as we come past. Oh yeah, we've got this little provincial no, what's it called? This is actually a single unit train. It's almost full. It's kind of cool actually. I quite like it. It's something different because we don't want everything to be the same. Now we should actually be getting passengers here because we did add Arriva Wales buses. I did just see one. There's one right there. Yay. So people should actually be able to either A, get picked up from the train station, or B, get dropped off there. So that's nice. That's a good thing. So here we are though. Transport for Wales, Chester to Manchester. AP. I need to rename that because it actually goes to Holyhead. Now there's 7 people on board. Not really a popular service. That's one of the things you have as well in Transport Fever is the AI doesn't really act like a real life AI. Many people nowadays buy a train ticket or an anytime train ticket, and instead of waiting for a specific train to appear, if a train pops into the station that is going the same direction or bypassing or stopping at a place you want to go to, you jump on it. You don't wait for hours on end for a train to appear. I'd like the AI to think like that because there were probably quite a few people left back at that station that want to go to Rail or Bangor or Holyhead, etc. But they're probably on a platform and factored in to wait for a specific train. Now obviously there is pricing and things in Transport Fever, that way how else would you make money? And I don't really know how it works. Maybe changing the ability to change ticket prices, etc., for running on different services. But that's another thing we can't actually control on our own. We're left to the fate of the AI to figure that out. So there's that Avanti West Coast that goes to London, Houston. I wanted to jump on that train, and the train is there, so hopefully that will be down at London before we before we get back. Or we might jump on the Birmingham train if it's there. I don't see it in front of us, and there's no... Oh, there is actually a red signal in front of us, but I think that will change as we sort of pop out here yet. I don't see any of the Class 180s. The Transport for Wales livery Class 180s. There is a plane there. Where are you going, plane? Belfast? Belfast Airport? Where is Belfast Airport? I think that's like the Isle of Man out there. It's where Douglas used to be on the previous iteration of the map, before I changed a few things here and there. Yeah, I think it's going to Belfast. What's this? Oh, it's Turbo Star and Transport for Wales livery. Where do you go again? Bangor to Crewe? I think it does go Bangor to Crewe. Yeah. Right, so you are coming into Bangor now. Now, there's no bus service for Bangor. So these 10 people here must all live in like one of these houses that is relatively close to the train station. I don't see any trains in front of us up at Holyhead either, so I'm not sure where the Class 180s actually are. They're maybe stuck down at Birmingham, or maybe Crewe. It's quite busy down at that section of the line. Oh, well, we've gone from 9 down to 7 passengers, back up to 9 passengers. Again, we're using DRS mainline or DRS coaches on this this train, because there is no Transport for Wales livery coaches, which is a real shame. They maybe will pop up at some point in the future. There are on a daily basis many mods that add Transport Fever 2, which is awesome, really. What is happening with that road bridge over there? I was just gonna say it's like mostly in the water, but it's not. Okay, that's very odd. Anywho, there's the Class 180. Typical, it's just left. It would have been nice to run this line back the way and then go to Birmingham. We'll see what else is up here. There might be something else, although I don't think there will be. No, there's no other trains in the station. So we can pray to anyone. Pray to anyone you feel. Whoa, there's no guardrail on this bridge. I've just noticed that. I thought it did come with a guardrail. It's like super dangerous. I suppose there are many bridges. I don't think a guardrail is particularly going to stop any train from going over the edge of a bridge or the edge of whatever's at the edge. I've often found it weird to see stuff like that. I think fences and guardrails are potentially to stop people and animals from getting onto the tracks, not in any shape or form to stop a wayward train from escaping the tracks. Right, so you are here. Alright, I know that other Class 180 is at Shrewsbury. Which direction are you going? Okay, you're heading in that way. Marvellous. Marvellous. However, it's been a hot minute And the London train. Who are you? Liverpool via Birmingham. Is there anything in here? That. Nothing. Avanti West Coast, Bangor, London. You're only just heading to Crewe. It's interesting. I thought you would have been well on your way. So where's the second one? Heading into Crewe from the other side. I think it was maybe this one. Was it? No, it could. That other one could potentially be the one we saw. But we'll come back. We'll wait for one of these to arrive, and then we'll jump on board. So here we are, back again. The train is arriving at the station. Very nice. We shall jump on board. Now this one is going to... It leaves from Bangor. It doesn't leave from Holyhead. Or not that I believe it does. We could make it leave from Holyhead. But I think it just leaves from from Bangor. And then it goes down, past through Ryle, through Chester, on to Crewe, and then down to London Euston. Doesn't go via Birmingham. It does go to Milton Keynes. However, we don't have Milton Keynes on the old map. So, yeah. Which should be a nice little route. There should be quite a few trains to pass on the way as well. And also coming into London Euston is quite nice. It's a really good mod. If you watch Anglo-Saxon's build video on how to build it, it's really well done. It just needs a bit of time and patience to sort of get things lined up, etc. And if you go into Google Maps and things, there's also lots of top-down images of London Euston and King's Cross that you can sort of use. So you could use that for any station, really. I think there are enough modular station sort of roofs and buildings, etc., to sort of make probably most stations in the UK. I mean, there are some really interesting pre-built ones on the Steam Workshop, most of them from Central Europe, Germany, Switzerland, Holland, etc. But yeah, it'd be really cool to get them implemented. Also, if you were doing that map, if you're doing a Holland map or a France, Belgium, Germany, Switzerland, Austria, etc., it'd be cool to throw them in. But here we go, back again. So those Transport for Wales Class 180 and Turbo Star there, they should both be heading up to Holyhead. There are actually a few people here at Ryle. We need to actually make Ryle slightly better. It's not, can't really see it, but it's just I think it's something like 3 streets or something worth of houses. But it's all we could really fit in this small area. The terrain in this map in some places is very flat and relatively nice to work with, and in other places it's extremely unforgiving. So you need to sort of take the bad with the good. I have been messing around making my own maps, and it is difficult to get mountains, actual mountains, in places where they should be, and areas to sort of be kind of flat where they should be. 9 times out of 10 I often end up with this weird sort of lumpy, hilly mess. So I've not quite refined the art of map building yet, but something I've been working on and would like to work on. So I will continue to do so. Alright, there we go. Green light, very nice. Off to Chester. Up along the coast there, it's a nice area. There's Liverpool in the background. I'm kind of hoping that Liverpool sort of builds out to this way, as it has done in sort of real life. We'll just have to sort of wait and see. I mean, really, in one of the first iterations of the map, it did build over this side. It actually built quite a lot when I didn't want it to, and now that I do want it to, it probably won't try and build over there at all. We'll just have to wait and see. We'll see how it plays out. I can see Manchester Station in the background. It's pretty big. There we go though. Down into Chester. I mean, Chester was one of those places that didn't even appear as a blip on my radar for anything, like for as a city I would ever add, etc. And then when I went into the NIMBY Rails and I was going on to Google Maps and searching the real life routes, especially from Manchester, Liverpool, these around these areas, Chester was always one of the places that popped up. A lot of trains pass through it in order to go to these other places, and I was like, well, if it's that important, I should probably add it. And there probably are towns and cities that are really important, we just can't really add them because, as I said before, a lack of map size. I mean, there are other YouTubers out there that do section by section of the UK. Maybe southeast coast of England, southwest coast of England, the sort of London region. I know there are people that do like parts of Scotland. Grant T is doing like the sort of Edinburgh and Glasgow, the sort of central belt region. There's also people that do like East Coast, West Coast, Northern. And when you've got a map like that, it is a lot easier to have some of the smaller towns and cities on the go. When you've got a map like this, where the UK has sort of been compressed down, and it really looks very odd and sort of squished down. It's kind of weird, but that's obviously the way the map author made it. And until I went to go and build my own maps, I sort of realised the sort of challenges he must have faced when making this. So obviously a couple of compromises were made here and there to fit the entire UK onto the map size. And even with the megalomaniac size map, and when you zoom out, you can't see, you only see like a quarter. So the map is large, it's just not large enough for too many towns and cities. You sort of have to make a compromise. And I think we've made a sort of fair one, really. I mean, before starting this, the Transport Fever 2 UK and NIMBY Rails, the reason we started this is because the last playthrough was extremely laggy. Very laggy. And then even halfway through till where we're at now, it was becoming really laggy. And then the patch dropped with the Vulkan graphics. And then once I implemented that, it was night and day, really, the difference between how much better it was. Even this just now is not completely perfect, but it is a million times better than what it was before the update. So that was good. That then gave me the hope that in future playthroughs it's going to be better. And the new PC is almost built minus graphics card, so that'll be nice to get that up and running. We'll definitely be able to do longer playthroughs with more vehicles, perhaps even more towns, etc. And knowing that in later game, the game is not going to crap its pants and sort of fall into oblivion, or lag into oblivion. So that is a nice thought. It's a nice prospect for the future. I'm really looking forward to getting the new PC built and then starting a new series, or the new plan I've got for a Transport Fever series. But I'm not going to reveal any of that until I know the PC is actually being close to being built, because anyone who's tried to build a PC recently knows that graphics cards, CPUs, particularly AMD CPUs and the 5000 series, are extremely difficult to get a hold of. Fortunately, I have a CPU, so that's all covered. The 5900X. It's just the GPU. GPU is going to be, God knows. I'm at least hoping I can get one for June, July. I mean, I would literally die if it meant it was going to be next year, because that's so long, and there's plans I've got for the channel to expand it and etc. And they're kind of at a standstill at the moment because I can't do the new PC. There's lots of new games I would love to start, but I can't because I don't want to have especially because I do a lot of heavily modded series. I don't want to sort of port everything across to a new PC. I've tried porting save games across with mods over at my laptop, which also is a extremely decent laptop, but it's always been a nightmare. The stuff of nightmare fuel. So I would like everything to just begin on the new PC. Obviously we're still doing Anno and Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. The only problem is we hit a rut in the road with Anno because we're currently at war. And even though I've been playing it for hours on end, I think it was last Sunday, I think I played it for 7 hours and made not one bit of progress. The game kept on throwing me these weird curveballs because in that series we're currently at war with Gasparov. Now my plan was to rebuild all the islands, make them, decorate them, make them look nice, do all the regions, and then leave Crown Falls, which is the main city in the Cape Trelawney, not touch anything there sort of at all, and then wait for all the new DLCs to come out, and then build it up, do regular episodes again, building that up. I wanted to get to where it was before the game died, because I had some modding issues that absolutely destroyed the save game files. I had to wipe the entire game. I had to uninstall it from my system completely and reinstall it and reinstall the mods freshly in order to get it to work. And that was a real nightmare, and now I'm at this point where 7 hours of gameplay can't progress me any further. There was a point I destroyed all Gasparov's islands in the New World, so you had no New World goods coming in. I thought that's fine. I destroyed all his ships. I was slowly taking over the islands in the Old World, and then out of nowhere he had an extremely large fleet come from off the map, and I was very confused because you can build ships in the New World. That is something you can do, and when I went there I was like, but wait, he's got no islands here. And that's one of the downfalls that Anno sort of has, is you can get AI, you can select the AI characters, you can even select how aggressive they are, but they will be in new regions and have taken over most of that new region before you even get to it. And I can almost surmise that this Gasparov fleet actually came from Cape Trelawney, where you can make fleets there because you do have all the goods required, and then came in and then it destroyed most of my ships. They then start to take over an island which I had no way of defending, and I was like, my god, that was 7 hours of what I considered was progress. And at the end of it I ended up switching it off, and then I deleted that entire save game, and now I've started rebuilding everything from the beginning again, because 7 hours of progress was all for naught. The AI in the game is extremely weird. I don't know how the devs sort of envisioned it, but it's extremely strange the way it sort of plays out. So it doesn't really play out the way you would expect it to, which is nice if you would like a challenge, but for the purpose of that series, where I was just trying to catch up to where I left off, it was really bad. And it was super bad. No progress was being made. I couldn't make any more episodes because I hadn't built or created or decorated anything new. So it was like pissing into the wind, as they say. So that got scrapped, and I've had to restart building stuff, which was frustrating. It was fun at the same time because there was a few things that I had built. I thought I'd like to do this differently, and now I can. And I'm going to take more time. It's the same with Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. I built X amount of stuff on a map, but then there's a new update coming that drastically changes the mechanics, or there are some features that will drastically change the mechanics of the game. And when you've got a heavily modded game, patches and like updates or DLC that come into games that interfere with those base mechanics will 9 times out of 10, or at least I think 9 times out of 10, because it's happened to me a lot, will destroy a save game, especially if you've got a lot of mods running that are specifically linked to those base mechanics. So if they get tweaked or completely overhauled or changed, your mods are going to break, your save game is going to break, and then you're back at square one. That's why I've halted that series, because I want to see if when the new update drops, this is the one with the helicopters, and there's a few other things it adds, underground heating pipes, etc, etc. I want to make sure that it's not going to completely destroy everything, because the last one that added the planes didn't really affect, or it should not have affected, from what I read on Reddit, it shouldn't really affect any of the base elements of the game, but because the save game was heavily modded, it completely ruined it. I had to restart again, and I don't want to restart again. I would like to do the update, get the whole helicopters and all the shiny new things, and then continue playing. And I know a lot of people liked the Soviet Republic, and I feel bad that I can't sort of upload it, but the more and more I upload, or the more episodes I do, the more things I build. If eventually the update drops and the game craps its pants, it's so much more for me to rebuild to where we were at before the game sort of died. So I'm kind of in a predicament. I'm kind of stuck right now where I'm happy playing Evil Genius. Evil Genius was good. I did not expect the research cap that they've implemented in the game. That sort of really stalled momentum of the game for me. I noticed that Colonel Failure, he actually stopped the series because he could not continue on with the research. There are bugged quests in the game, or bugged missions. You need to be extremely careful. The best thing to do is probably save the game before undertaking any type of new mission, because it might throw something at you where you can actually, you don't have the means or the minions or the whatever it is you need to continue on. Now, it doesn't tell you that you require these things before starting the main in-game objectives, side quests, etc. It doesn't tell you need these things. It only tells you once you start it, and there's no way to back out of the quest. So yeah, be wary. If you do get Evil Genius 2, by all means you should get it. It's a great game. It's I'm not sure if it's better than the first one. I'm still sort of undecided on that. It is a very good game. I mean, the first one was good. It was great. So by all aspects, everyone thinks that the second one should be better. Graphically, visually wise, it's great. Having Moneypenny from James Bond, what's her name again? I can't remember. She does one of the voices, and I think it's Brian Blessing does the the voice for Red Ivan, and his voice is great. He's a great voice actor. So yeah, having that is pretty neat. But yes, there are some issues with the game, and you just need to be mindful. But I'm having a lot of fun playing it. It's not too popular on the channel, but I'm not going to stop it. We're going to complete it. We're going to get it finished. We're going to be getting Anno back in the go, definitely. Once I've built up a few more islands, I'll do another 20-minute, 30-minute video going over everything. But yeah, that's really what's happening. Then we'll be patiently waiting for the Workers and Resources Soviet Republic update to see if it kills my save game or if the save game is gonna live. If the save game is gonna work fine, then that's fine. We just continue where we left off from the last episode. So we just finished the farms, and then we were building a major town within a major industrial sector right on the coast, just up from Rushkonoff. So that'll be good if it works. If it doesn't, it'll be another couple of weeks, because I'll have to rebuild everything. Because I have a plan for that city, that map, and how I want things to look, and I don't want to get... I don't want to have to start from the start and rebuild everything. That would be mind-shatteringly upsetting. So we'll just see. We'll see how it gets on, but we'll leave it there for that episode. We've done a few routes up past Wales. It's nice going past the Welsh north coast. We also got to check out Grimsby, our new town that we built in the last episode. The next episode I'm going to attempt to build the line from Norwich over to, I thought it was Manchester, but I'm pretty sure it's Liverpool. Pretty sure it's Liverpool Lime Street. It's an East Midlands railway train, and I'm pretty sure it goes all the way to Norwich. Now, on this, right, if we go here, we can actually see Liverpool and Norwich. It's not that far. I would bet quite a fair chunk of money that the line comes across the top here, joins up here, maybe goes up and then across. I would take a wild stab in the dark and say that that is probably where the route is going to go. However, building it out in NIMBY rails from the entire west coast out to the east coast, and if it doesn't utilise any of the current lines that I've already built, it's going to take me a long time to build it. But we'll just sort of see how we get on. But we'll leave it there for that episode. As always, if you did watch this and you would like to leave a like, comment or dislike, please feel free to do so. And if there's more you would like to see in the future, then hit the subscribe button. I would also like to add that we've got a few more subscribers and things, so welcome and thank you for subscribing. And also to the old guard who have been here since the beginning, thank you for sticking with me. There are a few people I often see in the comments. It's nice to get your comments. Any criticism is welcome, and a lot of people leave very good information about UK rail networks and how things should be changed up, or some of the unknown train companies that I don't really know. They've been providing me with information, so thank you again for that. It really is extremely helpful, because Google and Wikipedia, I have found out, does not answer all the questions under the sun, unfortunately. But yeah, that's been it for me. This has been Transport Fever 2 on the UK map, and I will catch you later.